Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the main event. So now this is the talk for media and communications. And so in a moment, I'll be introducing our academic who will be talking about the media and communications courses we have here at the University of Leicester. Just before we start, I'd like to say we do have a Q&A open. So during the talk, if you have any questions, pop them into the Q&A and I'll be able to ask those later on for you. We're also going to record this talk, so if you do want to watch it back, if you think you missed anything or you just want to watch it again, then you'll be able to see it on our website later on in the week. So now I'm going to introduce Tracy Simmons from Media and Communications to talk about our courses.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Tracy Simmons. I'm a missions tutor for media and communication. Glad to have you all along. Why Leicester? Let's just say a bit about Leicester. Here are some stats and some information about why we think you should come to Leicester. And you can see some stats regarding our employability, which are pretty impressive. I'm going to turn to why I think you should study media at Leicester. And again, some more information about where we are. We're 15th in the country of Complete University Guide 2021 for communication and media studies. And the other thing that I'm going to tell you about is the course structure. And one of the things that I think our students really like is the flexibility. So once you move from your first year into your second and third year, there's a range of optional modules. So if you have a particular interest, maybe you're interested in journalism, maybe you're interested in PR, you will see, as I'll show in a bit, there's a range of options that you can pick. So you can sort of have a little pathway through the degree. And a lot of students really like that. The other thing that's very popular with the degrees is opportunity to study for a year abroad. I'll tell you a bit more about that. And we have a year abroad tutor that works with our students and helps them to make an application to study for a year abroad. There's some careers and employability modules that are embedded in the course. And we do that right from the start, so we make sure that that's embedded right from the beginning of your studies. And research-led teaching, I'm going to say a bit about the kind of academic work we do in the school and how that feeds into the teaching. So one of the things that I'm going to show you is that across the school we have media scholars who have lots of specialisms in all different aspects of the media. So we have people who specialise in law, for example, and PR, and that all feeds into the kind of option modules that we have. So that's just a little bit about why we want you to come to Leicester and study media and communication at Leicester. And I'm just going to say something more about the school. So media and communication as a discipline, as an area of study, is quite a new area. And we started out as the Centre for Mass Communication Research, and we were established in 1966. And we were one of the first centres really to offer studies in what was called mass communication, what we now know as media and communication studies. So it was very much an innovator in offering teaching and research, a lot of the early research in the field in media. And since then we've grown, we've moved into a department and then now a school. And we have quite a large staff base now, and about approximately 50 odd academics across the school. And we became the School of Media Communication and Sociology in 2016. And preceding us becoming a school, we've always offered a joint degree in media and society. So we've always had a degree with our sociology colleagues. An average cohort size, we're looking to about 80 to 100 students generally. This year we've got 122 students registered with us on our undergraduate programmes, and that includes our sociology students. So it's about roughly half and half. with media communication and media and society students, and then our BA sociology students. So that's a bit about the school. So we've got a long established history of with the field of media communication, of offering teaching and research. So we've got a good heritage there. So I'll just say a bit more about our courses. So we have two courses, the BA Media and Communication, the BA Media and Society. That's our BA Media and Society is our joint sociology course, Media and Sociology. And I'll just give you a sense of the structure. So this is year one. So if you were doing the BA Media and Communication, this is the structure. And these are the kinds of modules and topics that you would be studying. The important thing to say in year one is that all of the modules you study are compulsory. In year two and year three, that's when you have choice of optional modules. So some of these are quite self-explanatory. We've got Introduction to Media and Communication, and that's really to give you a foundation in the field, in the topic area. Digital storytelling is a little bit different from some of the other modules because that's where you do something very practice-based. So the idea with digital storytelling is that you construct a digital artifact, and what that means is just a kind of a narrative using digital photography. So you tell a story using digital photographs, and the idea behind that is a kind of gentle introduction into production techniques, but also about how you build a narrative using that imagery. Media Origins looks at, again, the sort of history of different kinds of forms of media and communication over the years. Introduction to Academic Skills is to give you a good foothold into academic studies. So one of the things you might notice from, perhaps if you've come in as a BTEC student or you've done A-levels prior to coming to Leicester, is that academic study is quite distinct and different, and one of the things you need to learn is referencing and citation skills, the use of sources, and that can be a new thing for many of you. So we have an academic skills module just to make sure that you have those skills and you're prepared and ready for your assignments. Studying media and communication, global media, creative audiences. This is all about how we as audience engage with the media. There's some of the other modules that are covered in year one. Because they are compulsory modules, as I say, the idea is to give you a good foundation in the field of media. And then when we get into year two, you'll see that there's more opportunities for you to have optional modules. And there's a list there on the right hand side, but you'll see there's digital media in everyday life, production of news, media research in practice. This is where you start to learn a little bit about different methods or ways you can analyse the media. Television studies, journalism studies. Again, if you're interested in journalism as what you want to do in the future, then there's a module there. Or if you're interested in political communication, there's also that module. Or if you're interested in more popular culture and identity, we have a module that reflects that. And global film culture, if you're a film person, if you're interested in looking at debates and theoretical arguments around film. Documentary production, again, is another practice-based module, and that's where you go out in a small group and make a documentary. And you get support. We have technical support. We have the Media Lab, which offers you the facilities to put together your documentary, and you have somebody who can support you with the editing and production process. And you learn those production skills and you produce a documentary. And you also reflect on that as well. So there's a kind of academic side to this, to the documentary production. Reflecting on what you did and why you did it is also part of that module. And it's students really enjoy that. They enjoy the opportunity to work in small groups, but also to develop and learn those skills. And it's very interesting to see the different documentaries that students make. Working in the creative industry, and the last module there gives you the employability skills that we want you to have. Again, as I say, they're embedded in the course as early as possible. And we have links. We run that module with the careers service development so that you can translate all of these academic skills into an employability career setting. So that's year 2, and that gives you an idea of what you would do there. And then year 3, you'll see there's a very long list. I had trouble getting all of the modules onto the slide, but I hope that gives you an idea of the range of different specialism in the school. So we've got everything from environmental communication, obviously a big issue, global cultures, media in film. Again, if you're a film person, you'll see that in year 3 there's a module on that. Another journalism, online journalism, theory and practice, activism, protest in the information age, law. We have a specialist in the school who looks at media and law. It's a whole debate about how, particularly on social media platforms, where the law comes in, what is illegal, what is not. Games and culture, media in the body, reporting panics, community radio in practice. Just to say a bit about community radio in practice, again, that's a really nice module because you have a practice-based element where you go to a radio studio and you see how it operates and you put together a radio program. So that has a nice little practical element to it. Writing for PR, again, if you're interested in going into the PR industry, and advertising and consumer culture. So that's a list of the year 3 modules that you can take. And again, there's a whole range of optional modules there that should hopefully reflect whatever interest you're in. So if you're interested in film or the law or journalism, there should be something there for you that is of interest. So that's year 3. And then just to say a bit about our joint degree. So this is Media in Society, and it more or less, particularly in year 1, mirrors the BA in Media and Communication. You'll notice on the slide there's a few modules that have a star or asterisk against them, like cyber sociology, power, privilege and diversity. And that's where you get the sort of specialist sociology modules. So in the first year there's similar modules, but also you have those that reflect specifically sociology. And then in year 2, same sort of structure, but you'll see that you have 4 optional modules that you can take, and you would take 2 which are from the media and communication side, and then 2 from sociology. So you have 2 that are specialist option modules in sociology and 2 in media and communication. And then in year 3, as is the same as the BA Media and Communication, you undertake a dissertation, and you can also in the BA Media and Society do a dissertation alongside a research project, so you have that choice. And just to say on the dissertation, so the dissertation is a big piece of work that you do as part of year 3. You're assigned a dissertation supervisor that works with you. And you can pick any topic area that you like, as long as it's broadly within, media and communication or sociology. And we really get some really interesting projects. We've had lots of really interesting dissertation on contemporary events, such as the Black Lives Movement and the role of social media. So whatever you're interested in, hopefully you can through the optional modules, but also through your dissertation, have that opportunity to study that area with a member of staff. So that's broadly the structure for the degree and for Media in Society. So just to say a bit more about how we teach you and what you can expect. So generally all modules, you would take 3 modules per semester. And each module you would have a lecture, and lectures are usually about an hour to 2 hours, generally 2 hours. And then you would have a seminar, and the idea behind the seminar is that you have, you're in smaller groups and you're discussing and debating the issues from the lectures. So there's slightly different style. They're much more participatory than the lecture, although we always, with the lectures, like you to join in, and we make them interactive. Alongside that, as I've mentioned, there we've got modules like film modules, and we've got a television studies module. So you would have a screening with those modules. So you'd obviously see a film that would be part of the time as well with that particular module. So roughly calculating, again, depending on what kind of module you take, if you have a screening, you can expect a few more hours because of the length of the film or the TV shows that you might be watching as part of that module. But you're looking at sort of 9 to 12 hours a week, but also expect other contact time and availability with members of academic staff. So as I mentioned, you've got the dissertation, so you would have regular contact with your dissertation supervisor and also your personal tutor. And I'll say a little bit more in a bit about the role of the personal tutor. So that's more or less how we teach you. There's also some slight variations, obviously, with the documentary production module that I mentioned. You go off and you would film, and then there's also time for editing as well. So that's another aspect of how you are taught. Right, so in terms of assessment, there's a range of assessments. An essay, you would have an essay, conventional essay. Examinations, we have some examinations, not very many. I think in the first year there's a few modules that have an examination component, but it's often alongside other forms of assessment. And with the documentary production and the digital storytelling module, there's different ways we assess you for that. So obviously you produce a documentary, that is part of your assessment, as well as a reflective piece on the documentary, and the same with the digital storytelling module. You produced an artifact, and that's another way that you're assessed. And so other forms of assessments are presentations, particularly in the second and third year. You do presentations, sometimes in pairs, sometimes in small groups, occasionally individual. That's really important because no matter what kind of job you do, I'm sure there'll be a point where you have to talk to people. Yeah. So you do presentations. And then for other modules like the television studies module, you might do a reflective assignment, you might do a viewing portfolio. Some of the modules have blogs as part of the assessment or shorter pieces of writing. So there's a range of different assessments that we use. This slide is just to give you a sense of the school, and as I say, within the school we've got a range of different specialisms. So members of staff all specialise in different areas of media research, and this is just a snapshot. There's many more, but you can see these are the covers of some books of colleagues in the school. There's one here, Brexit, Trump and the Media. We've got one on gender in the media, my colleague Caitlin Mendez. There's one on tweenhood, femininity, celebrity and popular culture. There's one on PR. There's one on science, entertainment and television documentary. And that's just to give you a sense that, as I say, many of my colleagues in the school have lots of different specialisms, areas that they write papers on and publish books on and do presentations on, and that is reflected in the suite of optional modules. So, you know, we have optional modules on gender, and we have active researchers who publish papers and present on that. So that's just a very small snapshot of the academic staff specialism, and just to say, you know, within the school, you know, we are a very diverse bunch of people as well in terms of our background and where we come from. So that's also reflected in our teaching. So that's a bit about the staff, and then I want to say a little bit about how we can help you. So, as I mentioned, right from the day that you start in Welcome Week, you'll be assigned a personal tutor, and we aim to keep that personal tutor with you throughout your 3 years of study. And the idea is that they're there to help you with any issues that impact on your academic studies. Maybe you need some guidance on your first assignment. Maybe you're thinking about what you want to do after your degree, so they can point you in the right directions in terms of careers. whatever help you need, you have someone that you can go to from the start of your degree, and they're dedicated to support you. And we have a tutor within the school who supports on careers, and as I said, you have a dissertation supervisor. So once you have an idea of what kind of topic you want to do for your dissertation, there'll be someone in the school who has a specialism in that area who will support you through the dissertation process. And also each module has a module leader, and each course, the BA Communication and the BA Media and Society, has a course leader. So again, there's somebody who looks after the whole degree. And of course, there's the university-wide support, counselling and wellbeing, accessibility, student welfare service, and I've already mentioned the career development service. So there's lots of ways that we can help you throughout your degree. Just to say a bit more about employability, the Leicester Award, this is run by our career development service, and we embed that in our programmes here on the degree courses. And the Leicester Award is there to give you the opportunity to translate all of the skills that you develop on the course into, you know, the real world, into your career plans, and to give you that support. And below is just some career destinations. The media industry is very broad, so many of our students get graduate jobs in the media industry, and that can involve a whole range of different things, whether it's small independent media companies or some of the well-known organisations that we know, like the BBC. But also the important thing is that any institution or organisation, whatever they are interested and want people who are good at communications and have a communication side to them. So many of our students go into graduate-based jobs, undertaking PR, marketing, other kinds of communication-based jobs. So there's a list of some of the career destinations, and you also see that, again, there's a broad range of destinations, not just in the media industry, not just in advertising, but in other sort of graduate based jobs as well, with well-known companies and organisations. So one of the things that students really like about our programme is the opportunity to study abroad, and hopefully we hope that that opportunity will be coming forward soon in 2021 at the very least. And we work with a number of partner institutions, and you'll see that there's a list of partner institutions in Australia, Germany, Canada and USA. And what we do is we make sure that with those institutions, if you choose to take a year abroad, that the kinds of studies there will be similar to what you would study here at Leicester, so that you're not missing any content or information, or that they're not wildly different from what you would study at Leicester. So there's some of the partner institutions that you can go to. And again, many of our students really enjoy that experience, and we have a study abroad tutor within the school who will start to let students know. So in year two, early in year two, we let you know about study abroad opportunities, and you can let us know about whether you want to take up that opportunity. So that's our study abroad. This is just a bit about the application process and our requirements, ABB for A-levels, and other forms of qualifications that you need to come to Leicester. Again, if you have any doubts or questions about that, then you can get in touch with me. I'm happy to answer any questions as admissions tutor, but that's broadly our application process. And this is a bit about our citizens of change and what kind of students that we're looking for and what kinds of qualities that we want them to have. I just want to say a bit about Leicester. I've been living in Leicester for it's coming up to almost 20 years now, and it's a very diverse city. It's a very welcoming city. It's a city that's used to having students, and the school itself, as I said, is very diverse in terms of the backgrounds of the people that work there, and in terms of their research interests and their expertise. And as I say, that's reflected in very much the interdisciplinary informed research and teaching that we offer at Leicester. And as I say, we have production-based modules, the digital storytelling, the documentary production module are there to kind of give you those production skills and harness them, but also to allow you to reflect critically from an academic perspective as well. And also, as I've mentioned, we have career support right from the beginning, so that we can give you the chance to take whatever pathway that you want to take. We're celebrating our centenary. You may have heard of this, our 100-year centenary, and some august names there. So David Attenborough, of which we have our centenary square named after. And we have some scholarships connected to that, and there's some information about our scholarships if you are interested in that as part of our centenary. So I think I'm coming to my last slide there, and that's all from me in terms of what I'm going to say, and I'm now available for any questions.
Thank you very much, Tracy. The one thing I've sat in on quite a few of these talks today, and the one thing I've noticed is how interdisciplinary everything is, and how a lot of subjects interlink. So it's really good to see how media and communications links in with sociology and sort of other aspects of different research at the university. We don't have any questions yet, so if you do have any questions, please put them into the Q&A and I will ask Tracy them. And in the meantime, while you might be typing away and popping your question in, I just want to ask Tracy, what is your area of expertise within media and communications? You mentioned that everyone is a research expert in some way, so what's yours?
Yeah, well, I've got kind of two areas. So one of the areas I contribute to a second year module on popular culture and identity, and I do work on sexuality. So that's one of my specialisms, and I contribute to a session looking at different kinds of representation of LGBTQ representation in the media. And we talk about film and television representation and how the debates have changed around sexuality over time. So there's a bit of a kind of historical context, and I get the students to reflect on any media content that has a kind of LGBTQ theme to it as well. So I've learned a lot about Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race recently, because a lot of the students really like that programme. So that's one of my main areas. And then the other areas is I also look at how digital platforms can assist students in their learning. So just the everyday way that all of us now use digital platforms to help us learn, and how we as lecturers can harness that and use that. So I've been doing a few small qualitative studies with our students, mainly our postgraduate students, about how they are using digital platforms and questions about digital literacy. So two slightly different areas, but they're the things that I work on.
Yeah, I think especially with the way we've changed the way we're working now, with having to be at home. I mean, you might be able to tell from behind us, we're all literally working from home at the moment. And I definitely myself could say that before lockdown, I didn't use Teams, I didn't use Zoom, I didn't use all of these. I was pretty much a basic Facebook user before all of this. And now I've got Slack and Discord and everything going on. So it's timely research as well, I think you could say, in that. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Are there any field trips that come up on this course?
Well, not necessarily. What we have done in the past is we've organised trips to the BBC. Student societies usually do this, and we help organise and promote that. So once we can get back to travelling and going to places, we'll be certainly offering those opportunities. So students go down to London, and I'm hoping also up in Salford as well to offer those trips to have a look around and see the BBC in action. And of course, as I say, we have our year abroad. So many of our students take the year abroad. And it's always interesting to hear how they got on and what their experiences were like of studying, whether they went to the USA or Canada and all the rest of it. So,
oh, fantastic! Yeah, I think getting out there. The other part I was quite interested in was the practical side. There's quite a few of our courses. We always think of the University of Leicester as quite a theoretical university. We look at the theory behind things. But it is also important to look at how things are produced, quite literally produced in films, in sort of like the media side of things, so that you're able to really understand how it goes. Do you get the opportunity to look at some of the things that are produced out of that as well? So do you all watch bits of film or documentaries that have been made?
Yeah, I do, and it's great. I've been involved in the past with assessing some of the documentaries. I think what's interesting, I'm very impressed with how good quality they are. Students really produce very good quality, well produced documentary, and also how wide ranging the interests or topic areas that they cover. So sometimes they do anything from, sometimes they focus on clubs and societies at Leicester. So I remember there was a film about the Vikings Society at Leicester, and they sort of did a film about why students want to go to the Viking Society. And then another student did a really interesting documentary about one of their housemates who had an obsession with shoes.
Okay.
And it was really interesting. It was really good. So so it's always surprising what a wide range of different topics the students come up with. And there's also another really interesting documentary a student did. She was a student from China, and about her experiences of being in Leicester and how she felt, and sort of a day in the life, and that was also very good. So yeah, that's one of the really fun things is looking at what students come up with.
Yeah, it's not all exams and assignments. I think that's yeah. Brilliant. We actually do have one question that's come through, and it's about sort of the trips, and it says, how much do you pay for the trips when they happen?
Oh, for the study abroad.
I think maybe for if you do the field trips to BBC as well.
Oh, I think now I wouldn't know exactly, but I think a lot, because there is some money given to the student union societies. I think some of that funding comes through there, and I think also the school is able to offer some support, because we like to encourage these things. So they're not expensive, if at all, really.
Yeah, I believe that the Students' Union do have a little pot of money as well. Yeah. There's also there's the hidden costs fund too. So if you do find that there's a trip and you think, oh, there is a cost associated, maybe travel or something like that, you can ask the Students' Union, and they do help to support that.
Yeah. And I just remembered in thinking about trips for students. We did have a module on, we still have a module on games and culture, and the tutor took them to a trip to Nottingham to look at a gaming museum, and that was quite interesting.
Oh, yeah, so you could go anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions from anybody? We've still got a few minutes left. So if you do have any more questions, I'll give you a couple of moments to type those in. Actually, I'm thinking about that gaming museum. I think I'm aware of which gaming museum it is. It's a fascinating, a fascinating place. To go on that one. Yeah. Right. Let's see what else. What else is interesting about these courses? There's so much to go into, in different areas about sort of like the modules and things like that. And it's so much variety that you can actually pick and choose from. You can really create your own course, can't you, from the module choices? And I think that's a really nice way of making your own degree.
Yeah. So I mean, I think when you sort of get into your year 2 and your year 3, I mean, certainly year 2, you'll start to perhaps get an idea of areas you're interested in, or perhaps particular modules grab your attention, and so you might think, yeah, I'm quite interested in journalism or the PR or advertising. So there's a little pathway through those specialist modules. But even if you know, it's really based on whatever you're interested in. So so you can, yeah, whatever interest you have, you can pick those optional modules, and they reflect all the different specialisms within the school. And if you're still interested in those topic areas, then that's what you can do your dissertation on. So you can customise your degree.
Yeah, I think it's a good way of putting it. Okay, we haven't had any more questions. So what I will do is that if you do have anything else you want to ask, you can pop onto the UniBuddy chat, which is still going on until 3 o'clock. So you can go on there and ask your questions about media and communications. Or if something pops into your mind later on and you think, oh, who can I ask now? Everyone is available. Well, most people are available on UniBuddy on a daily basis. So if you pop onto our website and have a look at sort of the chat with us function, you can usually find somebody to chat with. And it could be a student who's on the course and who can tell you what it's like from their side of things. So I'm going to say thank you very much to Tracy. Thank you for your presentation. And if there's anything else you want to see, have a look at our website, on the main event website and the UniBuddy chat. And have a good rest of your day, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.